I imagine there are many people like me that know that quality audio is a major part of a video or podcast. In fact, many people would agree that having quality audio is more important than having quality video. Many, if not most, people will simply stop watching a video or listening to a podcast if the audio is not good. A useful and popular method of editing when using an audio editor is to use an FX chain. An FX chain is a collection of audio effects that are linked together in a specific order within a track or item. This chain allows you to apply multiple effects to a track simultaneously and adjust their settings to shape the sound as desired. FX chains can be saved as presets, making it easy to apply the same set of effects to other tracks or projects, ensuring consistency and saving time. The audio editor I like using an FX chain of a collection of various plugins with is Reaper. I have found so far that Reaper has been able to run every plugin I've tried perfectly. Reaper can do 100% of your audio editing, or if like me, you have become accustomed to using another audio editor and want to continue using your current audio editor, but would like to have a stable audio editor to process an FX chain of plugins like EQ, compression, setting loudness levels, etc. You may adopt an audio editing strategy of using Audacity for the initial audio editing and to finish out the audio editing process of adding noise removal, EQ, compression, setting loudness levels, etc. using Reaper's FX chain. You can use whatever audio processing effects and plugins you wish, first in Audacity, and then complete the audio processing of the audio in Reaper by exporting the audio edited in Audacity and then importing that audio into Reaper and selecting from an FX chain in Reaper whatever audio editing plugins you did not complete in Audacity, or simply use Reaper to process all plugins after first editing the audio in Audacity. Of course, whatever audio editor you use, you can export the audio from that audio editor and then import that audio into Reaper to take advantage of using Reaper's FX chain to finalize the audio editing workflow. I am referencing Audacity as that is the audio editor that I use as my primary audio editor. I show the specific plugins I currently use in the workflow, but keep in mind it's not so much about the specific plugins I am using, but the type plugin. For example, use whatever equalizer plugin you like in the workflow order of the FX chain and not necessarily the same equalizer I show in the example of my FX chain. One of the great things about using Audacity and Reaper are the many tutorials on YouTube how to use Audacity and Reaper. I mostly edit audio for spoken word, for podcast and voiceover, so the order and the type plugins I suggest are focused more so for spoken word rather than editing music audio. I will now show you my current audio editing workflow using both Audacity and Reaper. First in Audacity and then in Reaper using the same audio edited in Audacity. This is a sample stereo audio recorded as a 48 Hz sample rate 24-bit WAV file of voice-only audio I recorded using Audacity to use as an example to edit this audio using both Audacity and Reaper. Once you have completed editing the audio, except for editing the audio using the FX chain in Reaper, you export the audio from Audacity. And the way you do that, click on File, Export, Export as WAV, and we'll be exporting this as a 24-bit file. Click on Save, click on OK, and the file has been exported. We are now in Reaper. Up here, top center, we have the transport bar, has various buttons such as stop and play. Now, by default, transport bar is located at the bottom of the screen. I prefer to have the transport bar located at the top of the screen. To learn how to move the transport bar from the bottom to top center, I recommend you watch the video entitled Reaper Basics, the Complete Beginner Tutorial on the Ultimate Mixdown YouTube channel. Links to this video and other information will be in the description area of this video. Now I'm going to import the same audio file exported from Audacity into Reaper. Now first we want to move the playhead to the beginning. Let's go to the transport bar, click right here, and that will move the playhead to the beginning. Now we go up here to the top line menu, left click on Insert, left click on Media File, and we locate the audio file we wish to import. And right here it is. This is the same identical file that we just exported out of Audacity. So we'll select it. And then I'm going to move the playhead back to the beginning again. So I go up here to the transport bar and simply left click right here. So this is the same file we just exported out of Audacity. One of the things that you will do consistently is to select a representative sample of the audio and loop that section of audio to where you can adjust a specific plugin while listening to that looped section. And for example, let's say that you want to loop this section. So we have the playhead here, and I hold down my left mouse button here and drag over the section to loop. And then I'm going to go to the transport bar. I'm going to left click right here on the toggle repeat button. Now, let's click on the play button. Acres of Diamonds by Russell Conwell. Acres of Diamonds that the audio Russell Conwell. Acres of Diamonds over and over again. Acres of Diamonds, which will give you Russell Conwell as much time as you wish to adjust a specific plugin. Now, I'm going to click on the stop button to stop the audio from looping. To remove the time selection, Put your cursor up in this area, right-click, and then left-click on Remove Selection. Now the time selection has been removed. I recommend you watch the video entitled Selecting a Small Section of Audio from Just One Track in Reaper on the Homebrew Audio YouTube channel to learn how to select and loop audio sections when you have multiple tracks and only want to loop and hear just the loop section of one track. To open up the FX chain, click here on FX. This is the recommended order and list the type plugins for an FX chain for the spoken word. Use whatever type plugins you like the best. I'm showing you the plugins I'm currently using, and those plugins may change as I discover and find other plugins I like better. Focus on using the type plugins in your FX chain rather than the specific plugins I am using. Also, when editing audio, wearing quality headphones is essential when editing audio. Audio engineers use a term called training your ears when editing audio. The more you edit audio, the more you will learn to distinguish good audio from bad audio and appreciate having the best quality audio to start with rather than having to edit poorly recorded audio to make it sound better. I will briefly talk about the purpose of each of these plugins in this FX chain. Number 1, noise removal. Choose one of two plugins, Clear or RX8 Voice Denoise. Clear, noise removal. This plugin is considered to be a denoise and de-reverb voice separator plugin. This is an optional replacement noise removal plugin should the audio benefit from this type noise removal plugin and primarily used to remove background noise, reverb, room noise, wind, etc. Or RX8 voice denoise to remove noise. The noise floor for a podcast or voiceover should ideally be around minus 60 dB to minus 75 dB. This level ensures that the background noise is not prominent and the recording sounds professional. Denoise plugins are placed at the beginning of the chain to address any unwanted noise, ensuring a clean audio signal to work with. Number 2, Declicker RX8 Declick. A mouth declicker plugin is used to remove unwanted mouth noises, such as clicks and other oral artifacts from the audio. These noises can be distracting and affect the overall quality of the recording. By using a mouth declicker plugin, these audio imperfections can be effectively reduced. Number 3, noise gate, Renegade. The purpose of using a noise gate is to reduce the level of background noise. A noise gate works by attenuating the level of quiet audio material while leaving loud audio material unaffected. Effectively closing the gate during silent or low-level passages and opening it when the desired audio signal is present. This helps in creating a cleaner sounding recording by reducing unwanted background noises during pauses or silent periods in the audio. A noise gate can help minimize background noise, resulting in a more polished and professional sound for a podcast or voiceover. A noise gate is a great plug-in to reduce or eliminate loud breathing sounds. Number 4, equalizer. First instance of EQ in this FX chain, IIEQ Pro. The first equalizer in the FX chain is primarily to set the high-pass and low-pass filters. And after using this equalizer setting, use additional equalizers further along in the FX chain for equalization other than to set the high-pass and low-pass filters. This is an optional EQ, ensuring that adequate high-pass and low-pass filters are applied to the audio, regardless of settings of equalizers used after this equalizer. I suggest only setting the high-pass and low-pass filters on this first equalizer and continue to use settings in the equalizers used after this equalizer in the FX chain as if this equalizer were not in the FX chain. The best settings for a high-pass filter and a low-pass filter in an EQ plugin for the spoken word can vary, but a common approach is to use a high-pass filter to cut frequencies below 80 to 100 Hertz to remove rumble and muddiness, and a low-pass filter to roll off frequencies above 15 to 18 kilohertz to reduce sibilance and harshness. These settings can be adjusted based on the specific characteristics of the voice and the recording. It's important to listen critically while making these adjustments to ensure a natural and clear sound. These specific settings may need to be adjusted based on the characteristics of the voice and the recording. It's worth noting that the cutoff frequency, slope, and the Q of the filter can be adjusted based on the specific needs of the audio signal. Therefore, the best settings may also depend on the particular EQ plugin being used and the unique qualities of the spoken word being processed. I typically set the high-pass filter to minus 80 Hertz and the low-pass filter to minus 15 kilohertz, and the Q of the high-pass filter and low-pass filter set by the particular equalizer I am using. Number 5, equalizer. TDR Voss Slick EQ Gentleman's Edition. Use an equalizer to adjust the frequency of the audio to enhance clarity and reduce muddiness. Boosting or cutting specific frequency ranges can help improve the intelligibility and overall quality of the spoken word in a podcast or voiceover. The purpose of using an equalizer plugin when editing spoken word is to shape the tonal balance of the voice, remove unwanted frequencies, and address any issues related to the recording environment or the characteristics of the speaker's voice to achieve a more natural and polished sound. Number 6, compressor. TDR Kotelnikov Gentleman's Edition. A compressor serves the purpose of controlling the dynamic range of the audio. The compressor helps to even out the volume of the spoken word, reducing the dynamic range and ensuring that quieter and louder parts of the recording are more balanced. This can help maintain a consistent and intelligible level throughout the entire audio, making it easier for listeners to hear and understand the content. Additionally, the use of a compressor can help manage any sudden loud peaks in the audio, resulting in a more controlled and professional sound for the spoken word in a podcast or voiceover. Number 7, equalizer. TDR Voice Slick EQ Gentleman's Edition. This is an optional and additional use of the equalizer to make small equalization changes to the audio. Use this step carefully, if used at all, as too much equalization can end up making the audio sound worse and not better. Number 8, de-esser, lisp. A de-esser is used to remove or reduce sibilance of the harsh S and SH sounds in spoken words by specifically targeting and attenuating these high-frequency sibilant sounds. A de-esser helps create a more balanced and natural vocal sound, enhancing the overall quality of the podcast or voiceover audio. A de-esser is used to help mitigate sibilance and ensure a more pleasant listening experience for the audience. Number 9, harsh frequency remover, Vostos. I found that the free plugin Vostos by Wavegrove improved the quality of the voice by removing harsh frequencies. This is an optional plugin you might want to try to see if you think it improves the quality of the human voice. Number 10, loudness increaser, Loud Max. Plugins to increase the perceived loudness with slight modifications, if any, to the audio levels to provide a better listening experience for the listener, as the perceived sound is louder without the volume levels being louder. This is a plugin I use frequently on podcasts and voiceovers. Number 11, set loudness levels to correct luff and true peak, Final Loud 3. There are many ways to set luff and true peak loudness levels in your audio. Setting the loudness levels in your audio is always the last and final step in your audio editing workflow. I have found no better plugin to set both the luff and true peak loudness levels than Final Loud 3. Use Final Loud 3 as the last step in your FX chain, or another plugin that sets luff and true peak loudness levels, or use another method other than plugins to set the loudness levels as the last step in your audio editing workflow. And number 12, loudness meter, Uline loudness meter, a meter to measure loudness levels in your audio. I use and like Uline loudness meter. This plugin does nothing to modify your audio, but is only a meter used to meter loudness levels of your audio. You can do a dry run render on an audio file in Reaper and determine the overall luff and true peak max loudness levels of the audio. This meter can also be used while the audio is playing to check the loudness levels. This is an Excel spreadsheet listing all of the plugins in the FX chain in the order that the plugins are processed. You see here in this column, order of process, numbered 1 to 12. You have the type plugin in this column. You have the purpose of that plugin in this column. You have the name of the plugin in this column, the company that developed plugin in this column, and you have links to the websites of each of the plugins where you can find out more information about that specific plugin. And here in this column, you have links to a YouTube tutorial on each of the plugins in the FX chain. This spreadsheet is available for download from a link in the description area of this video. Also, you can download a PDF file of this spreadsheet from a link in the description area of this video. Now we're ready to run our FX chain. Now, prior to running the FX chain, we want to set the audio level to this file to minus 23 LUFS to provide us ample headroom for the plugins in the FX chain to have room to process. Many people will set the headroom by setting the audio level to minus 6 dB normalization. But rather than normalizing to minus 6 dB, I prefer to set the audio clip or clips that you have to process to minus 23 LUFS, which will provide headroom for the plugins to process in the FX chain. And this is how you set this audio to minus 23 LUFS. I'm going to select this audio clip, so edit, select all, and then I'm going to left click on the top line menu, actions, and then show action list. And I'm going to search on normalize by typing right here, normalize. And it brings up these options, and I'm going to click on the option, item properties, normalize items, peak RMS LUFS. And then we have this box here. We have a drop-down window. As these selections, I'm going to select LUFS-I, and I stands for integrated, which will be the integrated LUFS loudness level. I'm going to set it to minus 23. In this drop-down box, you have two options: normalize each item separately or normalize items together, common gain. And that's the item that I will select here, normalize items together, common gain. Then click on OK. Now our audio LUFS level for this audio file is minus 23 LUFS. Now let's open up our FX chain. And the way we do that, go over here to FX, left click on it, and there's our FX chain. Now when we render this file, we don't want the audio level to be louder than we want our final audio LUFS level to be. So here's one of the plugins, LoudMax. And you see here, I have this set to minus 1 dB. And this is how I can control the loudness. And what I suggest that you do is to run this plugin, Uline Loudness Meter, and you just click here to activate it. And when you play the file, you'll see the reading. You want that reading to be more silent than what your final output would be. Now, our final output on this file will be used, let's say, for a YouTube video, which would be minus 14 LUF and minus 1 true peak max, which are the YouTube suggested audio loudness levels for a YouTube video. And let's just try that out here a second. Let's reset this, and it's a stereo file. And I'm going to click on the play button right here. And we see that our LUFS level is minus 20. So I'm going to click on stop.
Central idea.
So what that tells me, I can actually increase the loudness level here because it's not at minus 14. And right here, you probably don't want this to go over about 4 here. Now, let's try clicking on play again.
Acres of Diamonds by
I'm
Russell
going to click on X to reset.
Is a motivational lecture that was later expanded
So now
into a book.
we're down about
Central
minus
idea
16.
of the work
So I'm going to click on
is that
stop.
opportunities for success are often found.
So that is good. So it's about roughly about 2 dB more silent than our eventual target of minus 14 LUFS. So let's leave that setting there. Now you actually can also do what is known as a dry run, and I'll just show you how to do that. You might want to get more precise in doing this. Now to do a dry run and check our minus LUFS here and our true peak max, do a dry run. Let's click on File, Render, and let's go ahead and set the folder or directory to where we want the file eventually outputted to. Now it would be a folder on my C drive entitled Audio. And let's name our audio file. So the original file here is named 01 Acres of Diamonds. Before editing, let's name this 02 Acres of Diamonds. And let's just say after FX chain. Now here is our Uline loudness meter. I'm going to click on this X to reset, and it's a stereo file, so we're going to leave it at stereo. And I'm going to do a dry run. That means it does not actually output the file, but just does a dry run. So let's click on dry run. Now the audio is processing, and after the dry run completes, it will provide us the LUFS and true peak max. And we want to be sure that the LUFS is more silent than our final target, which is minus 14. Gives us a LUFS level here, which matches what Uline is showing. So you could actually utilize this. Might even be easier than using the Uline loudness meter. So you see, we ended up with a LUFS level of minus 16.2, and that's the same reading on our Uline loudness meter, which is great. So that's 2.2 dB more silent than the minus 14 LUFS dB that we're going to end up with when we set the loudness level for YouTube. And the reason you want that more silent because you'll have issues in setting things like the True Peak Max if your audio is louder than the target level. And you can see that our original estimate worked out pretty well just by getting an estimate by playing this Uline loudness meter earlier without having to do a dry run. But I wanted to show you this because sometimes you may want to do a dry run for certain applications, and that's how you do it. And again, when you set up this loud max, set this peak here to minus 1 dB, and then adjust this where the loudness is not louder than your target, and you want to keep this level right here under about 4. We're going to close this out and go back here. We're going to uncheck Uline loudness meter because we don't need to run that. So now we are ready to render the 0.1 acres of diamonds before editing using all these checked items in our FX chain, which will render a file to this folder entitled 02 acres of diamonds after FX chain at 48,000 hertz, WAV file 24-bit. Now I click on render. And the audio file is in the process of rendering. It gives some information down here, and you can see here it gives a estimated remaining time. And this is great information here because we see that our LUFS integrated will be several dBs quieter than our target of minus 14 LUFS. So we've got a little bit more time remaining. Now, after this is processed, the next step will be to set the loudness level using the plugin Final Loud 3. Okay, the file has completed its rendering. Now, let's uncheck all of these items except for the last and final step, which will be always the last and final step, which is setting the loudness level to your audio. So first, let's uncheck all of these items in the FX chain that we just processed and only select Final Loud 3. So that's the Final Loud 3 right here. And it's already set as a target to minus 14 and has several presets. And you can use this to go and find the preset you wish to use. And for this one, we're going to use the YouTube preset. Now there's a podcast, minus 15 LUF, minus 1 True Peak Max, and there's YouTube. And iTunes, and that's the one that you'll want to use for your podcast loudness levels. -16 love, -1 true peak max. But we want to go back here to YouTube, which is -14 loves, -1 true peak max, and set the gain to 0 if it's not already, and then click on reset. Now, since this is a stereo file, we don't need to select mono. Now, if it were a mono file, we would click here and select mono. But since this is a stereo file, we do not want mono selected, so mono is not highlighted or selected. And again, click on reset. Now let's first import the file we just exported, 02 extra diamonds after FX chain. So let's highlight this file, go up here to Item, Remove Items, and go to our transport bar, left click, so that our playhead will be at the very beginning. Now let's click on Insert, Media File. Now this is the file we just exported, 02 acres of diamonds after FX chain. So that's the file that we want to import so we can set the loudness level to -14 love and -1 true peak max. So we click on that. I'm going to go up here to the transport bar, left click here so the playhead will be at the beginning. And let's render this file, and let's give it a name of 03 acres of diamonds. Let's just call this final. This is the final file, -14 love and -1 true peak max. So this is the name of the file, and it'll be output to the audio folder on the C drive, and 48,000 hertz wave file, 24-bit. So now we're ready to export the file. Now this will take several tries. And let's click on Render. The file is rendering. And here's our target we set. Here's our source. So our source did not reach our intended target of -14 love and -1 true peak max. So let's click right here, left click to reset, and we want to render again and overwrite that same name file. So we click on overwrite. That's processing once more. So we got closer, but we still did not reach our target and our source. So again, let's click right here to reset and render once more. Same name file, so we want to overwrite. Click on overwrite, processing once more. Now, this audio file is exactly the same as we had set in the target. We had set in the target -14 love and -1 true peak max. And the source file, which is this file right here, 02 acres of diamonds dash final dash 14 love and -1 true peak max, is now at -14 love, -1 true peak max. Now we're back in Audacity, and I want to let you listen to the unedited file before we use the FX chain and set the loudness level and the edited file. So I imported those two files here in Audacity. The unedited file named 01 Acres of Diamonds before editing, and the edited file named 03 Acres of Diamonds final -14 left and -1 true peak max. So what I'm going to do is select this entire audio file of the unedited version and set the LUFS level to -14, same as the edited file, so the volume levels will be the same. So we go to Effect, Audacity, Loudness Normalization, and we're going to set it to -14 LUFS and click Apply. Now, the audio levels are the same. The unedited version is -14 LUF, and the edited version, we had previously set that already to -14 LUF. So first, let's play in its entirety the unedited version. So I'm going to mute the edited version, and from the beginning, we will play the unedited version. So I'm going to click right now on the play button. Acres of Diamonds by Russell Conwell is a motivational lecture that was later expanded into a book. The central idea of the work is that opportunities for success are often found in one's own environment, and individuals need not look elsewhere for wealth, achievement, or fulfillment. Conwell illustrates this concept with the story of a man who sells his farm to search for diamonds, only to discover that a vast diamond mine was located on the very land he had sold. The book encourages readers to recognize the potential for success in their current circumstances and to make the most of the resources and opportunities available to them. It is a timeless work that promotes the value of perseverance, gratitude, and recognizing the hidden potential in one's immediate surroundings. Okay, now I'm going to mute the unedited version, and I'm going to unmute the edited version, and we'll now play the edited version. Acres of Diamonds by Russell Conwell is a motivational lecture that was later expanded into a book. The central idea of the work is that opportunities for success are often found in one's own environment, and individuals need not look elsewhere for wealth, achievement, or fulfillment. Conwell illustrates this concept with the story of a man who sells his farm to search for diamonds, only to discover that a vast diamond mine was located on the very land he had sold. The book encourages readers to recognize the potential for success in their current circumstances and to make the most of the resources and opportunities available to them. It is a timeless work that promotes the value of perseverance, gratitude, and recognizing the hidden potential in one's immediate surroundings. That completes this video. I wish you the best in your audio editing journey. Editing audio is a journey. It seems you never arrive at the destination of 100% perfect audio 100% of the time. But if you continue traveling on your audio editing journey, the quality of your audio will constantly improve. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Please visit opportuno.org. Thank you.